What's going on, everyone? We're back. We're back with another new episode review of Snowpiercer. This episode is the season opener, which is season 3, episode 1, which is called The Tortoise and the Hare. It is directed by Christoph, who has directed some Snowpiercer episodes in the past. Now, as always, before we begin, if you like this channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome. Hit that like button, as well as commenting below any video to watch, including this one. All right, guys, we're back. Season 3 is here. It is officially releasing. We got, I think, 10 new episodes coming up. And as we know, Season 2 ended with both trains. About 8 to 9 trains were, of course, detached from Big Alice. Snowpiercer went off on its own to whatever new lands to find, you know, the heat. I guess they're looking for a place to live. They found possible places. And of course, Big Alice has been left behind with the rest of the train stack. So it pretty much was left off with, you know, the usual cliffhanger. What's going to happen to these individuals? Where is it going to, you know, continue? Like I said in my season 2 overall status review, I didn't think the season was that great. I think it had a lot of problems. There was character moments, especially with Lena, that just kind of fell apart. I thought, you know, some of the characters could have been worked a lot better, but the thing about a series, especially high concept series or series that become successful, which Snowpiercer has become for TNT, is the fact that season 2 is usually the weakest of the series, is still trying to find its footing, is still trying to, you know, compete with what season 1 did. So that's when, you know, if you look at a show that's been truly successful, like any Friends or Big Bang Theory or, you know, Seinfeld, the season that usually ups the ante and starts to find its groove is the season 3 and beyond, sometimes season 4. I was not happy with season 2. I really wasn't. I can't remember the grade I gave it because it was like a year ago, but I wasn't happy with it. But I still love this series. I'm still interested and intrigued by it. It's still one of my favorite series running today, which, you know, a lot of people have discounted because it's, you know, based off the Bong Joon-ho's the movie. They're very much in like the, why does this even need to be a TV show? I'm excited for it. So with that said, we open up with a new season, which basically sees two sides. We see the Snowpiercer group, we see the Big Alice group, and things are not going well for either side, to be fairly honest. And what I'll do is I'll just kind of break it up into 2 parts, kind of like, you know, the Big Alice side and the Snowpiercer side, just for right now, until it kind of gets into the heavy lifting what it's supposed to do. Apparently Jennifer Connelly is not dead, as we predicted, as we've seen from the trailers. I'll talk about the Big Alice stuff right now. So there is a problem with Big Alice, with his Wilfred's character. He's running it like an autocratic society. You see where this is going. It's very cold. Things are freezing over. They need Snowpiercer's engine to keep the place warm. And they can't really do anything. They can move, but they can't really, you know, they can't really do anything, but they're trying to catch up to Snowpiercer, so on and so forth. Well, as Kevin and his jackboot people and Wilfred are trying to do, they're trying to pinpoint the resistance that is still going on Big Alice, the leftover remains of Snowpiercer's resistance, and so on and so forth. People still loyal to Leighton, still loyal to that cause. And he's doing everything in his power, but he's also trying to run it like an autocratic society. So he has like sweatshops going on, and he's absolute ruler. And of course, Kevin's the he's like the Goebbels, I guess you could say, or the second command to, you know, that particular individual, and he's going around, so on and so forth. Well, in the underlining situation that's going on in this episode, Pike and of course Ruth, who were unfortunately left behind, they're basically the lead commands of the resistance. They're hiding under the noses of course Wilfred, and they're kind of, you know, playing the game. They're keeping everything in check for the resistance. They're giving them, you know, bathroom tokens, which they're not really allowed to do. They're giving pills. They're just kind of running a black market scheme or black market situation that of course Wilfred's going to start, you know, getting a little bit of concept on. He's getting a little bit of ideas. So, you know, they're doing their thing, and of course as everything plays out, you know, we have LJ and of course Sam, who are kind of the in-between. They're working the bar, they're keeping everything in check, they're giving the information to of course Kevin and of course Wilfred, who, you know, what's going on. And as we see, they determine that, like I said, the tokens are being given out illegally. People are going underneath the radar. So they basically, Kevin tries to go, and his jackboot people try to go after these individuals that are the cause of this resistance. And of course, Pike gets the wind. He gets the idea. He gets the information that there's something going to happen. So he takes Ruth to the other end of the train where the living quarters is, where the big room, like the big luxury suite for LJ and his family at one point, or her family at one point. And they hide in there. It's -25 degrees, so they're hoping Wilfred and crew will never go back there. There's a room where Ruth could work, because Ruth is like, she's like the, the person that would do the SOS thing if they were hiding undercover. So they're just trying to keep everything in check. They're trying to wait for Leighton to come back to rescue them. They're just doing everything in their power to survive, and that's what most people in Wilfred's train is doing. They're trying to survive while trying to resist. They're what happened in season 1, Leighton and Josie and Pike, they're just trying to survive, but they're also trying to get the upends of Wilfred. And he's Wilfred's very smart, because he also has Leighton's woman, which of course is Zara, who's very pregnant, because this takes place 6 months after the second season. And we just see everything going down. There's a character named Molly or Martha or something like that. Yeah, Molly, who is being given a token for a bath because she deserves it. She's basically pulled from the bath by Wilfred and Kevin. There's of course the train conductor, whatever the conductor, whatever he is, he's pulled. And basically what happens, as a lesson to teach these people, Kevin is in essence making everybody throw what I would say is crap, like poop, like sludge, the stuff you would find underneath the toilet, and like a portable or something like that, where people take poop, or where all of the nastiness is. The woman Molly, and of course the other guy, basically everybody comes up, they use the buckets and they throw this crap on them, and they're not allowed to take showers. Diseases, disgusting, as we can see. And that's pretty much where the episode kind of lies with their characters. It's a introduction to what they're going to have to do, how they're trying to keep themselves alive. What Wilfred, who, like I said, is an autocratic individual now, he's basically the ultimate ruler of this train, as he always was going to be. We see kind of the makings of planes and so on and so forth. There's a point where, like I said, Wilfred and his dog are in the main train, and then see Javier still alive, but he's like tubed up, he's like all kinds of messed up, he's in his own world, but he's at this train conductor, and through no kind of point of his own, he's basically being threatened by Wilfred to keep the train running, to keep them going forward, because they have an idea where Snowpiercer's headed, because like I said, Snowpiercer's trying to find that whole the place where they can live, where it's warm enough, not -85 degrees, and so on and so forth. So that's pretty much the Wilfred stuff that kind of completes the arc of this episode, and it's good stuff. It's a really good kind of planting of the seed to what this season can become, what it'll eventually become, and I like it. I like that it's not a lot, but it's just enough to keep wet our whistle, keep us excited for the series. And it kind of leaves off with that. That's the end of the whole Big Alice stuff. Like I said, LJ and Sam are in love. They're a romantic couple now, as we saw from the end of season 2. And of course, this leads into Snowpiercer, which is, like I said, they're in the middle of trying to find the livable habitat, the livable space. They go to different locations, as they have for the last 6 months, and in essence, they are finding where a place could be livable. So in this episode, Bennett, of course, is going out to find, how cold the temperatures are, how fast the ice freezes, so on and so forth. He's in a suit. And of course, it's like -85 degrees. So they're not really doing very well on this aspect. Snowpiercer, if it doesn't keep moving, it could overheat like a nuclear engine. It could cause a lot of problems. You could tell that they're in much better shape, but not as big as Alice is. And the problem is, Aleks is like, if we keep stopping, we're going to cause this basically a meltdown of Snowpiercer. And I thought that was fascinating. I thought that was interesting. I like that Aleks is a much more fleshed out character. She has a lot of purpose. You can tell she's very, very upset by the fact that she lost her mother, which, as we know, Melanie's still alive. She wouldn't be listed in the credits if she wasn't. And we knew from the moment that they were like, oh, she's dead, she's gone, that she's going to come back. How that happens, nobody knows at this point. I don't know, because I have not seen the next episodes. We also have Till, who's kind of still the lead security guy. We have Lade, who's still kind of the lead of the train. They're keeping an eye on Bennett, as well as keeping an eye on Audrey, Miss Audrey, who, of course, is their captive. We, of course, have Martin and a couple other new characters that we're not seeing in the second season or first season. There were kind of people that got kind of thrust into this. They're kind of the main guards. There's not a lot of people on Snowpiercer because, one, there was not a lot of people when they disconnected. But as we see, we get another character who's played by Christian Braun, who was, of course, in Ready or Not. He's a jackboot guy, but he's always drunk. He was not in the other seasons, but he is in this season as one of the jackboot people on Big Alice. Bennett gets his test things or whatever done. He heads back, but the thing about what happens to him is he's walking over the snow, and all of a sudden we hear cracks. Now, you would think maybe crack through ice or something like that. Maybe the weather's changing a little bit. No, he crashes through a building. He crashes into, nobody knows what it is. It's just a building. And of course he's hurt. And so Layton's like, I'm going to go, rescue him. Josie's like, I'm going with you. No, you're not going with me. Yes, I am going with you. You know how this all works. And they kiss and they go out to save Bennett. Well, the problem is Aleks has to basically help, or she has to keep the train moving. So they're going to move it forward. They're going to stop it like on a dime, and they're going to push it backwards so they can, rescue Layton and so on and so forth. And it leads to basically Layton and Josie going down to save Bennett. Josie helps. They basically wrench him up, Bennett up to take him to Snowpiercer. Josie and of course Bennett start moving, and Layton stays down there because there's something interesting about this building. Basically what happens is Layton walks down the hallway, opens up a door, and sees a reactor. What we find out is a nuclear reactor, which is really interesting because somebody's been alive down in this building for who knows how long. It's been several years. It's been a long time since Snowpiercer and the snowstorm and the ice storm and stuff like that happened. And he hears a sound. He goes down, and of course he is attacked by an unknown person. I couldn't find the name of the person who it is who's playing him, but he's attacked by somebody, and of course he gets the upper hand, knocks out the individual. His suit gets compromised. He starts losing heat, and he finally gets the hose connected to the point where he's able to kind of recover, but he passes out. And this is some new stuff that happens, which I thought was kind of curious. Like I said, a lot of the stuff that's happening is very Snowpiercer in its own right for the last 3 years, but they're introducing a kind of mystical, kind of seer situation where he has a dream about a tree. Now, what that tree could mean is maybe like a futuristic place they could find. Maybe it's death. Who knows what it is exactly? I'm sure we're going to find out as the season moves along. But he has like a vision. It's what it is. It's trying to progress the story forward, make it a little more unique, trying to get past that second, sophomore year slump, trying to just kind of make the series more interesting, because if you watch the series, you can only do so much with characters and storyline before it becomes stale. It was very apparent in the second season that some of the storylines were becoming stale. I think they got the idea behind that. I think they figured out, from people's, what they thought of it, that they needed to kind of reconfirm and reconfigure characters. So Layton's a little more interesting in this. I don't think he's back to his first season self, but I think it's a lot more interesting after one episode than the whole entire second season that was given for Layton, which kind of rehashed a lot of the same nonsense. So I hope they don't do that in season 3, but basically saves the guy as we see. But before I get into like the very end of the episode, we have basically, in essence, Snowpiercer is moving forward to kind of reconfigure the Snowpiercer engine. And Miss Audrey and this character Martin, who's holding captive Audrey, releases Audrey because they've been talking. They think they need to go back to Big Alice. Miss Audrey's, of course, the bad guy of the situation of Snowpiercer. And they confront Till, who's underneath the Snowpiercer, as, of course, Aleks is trying to work the system. And this is a really weird segment to me because they knock out Till, and Miss Audrey goes up to Aleks, and it seems like Aleks is now working with Miss Audrey, which is a really weird character moment, because when I talk about what happens after that. So Miss Audrey pulls out a cigarette. She's talking to Aleks. She's like, Aleks, we need to go back to your dad, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, I guess this is going to be an interesting arc for Aleks. Is she really a good guy? Is she a bad guy? We find out that she's just playing Miss Audrey until Till knocks out Miss Audrey, of course, with the wrench, as well as Martin. They're going to be, put into cell blocks or whatever. And basically they stop the train. Aleks is a weird character at this moment, but maybe she gets a little bit better. They push back the train and they rescue, of course, Josie and Bennett, but Josie's like, where is Leighton at? Leighton, of course, comes out of the hole. He's holding onto a guy, which is the guy that, fought him down the building. And that's kind of where the episode ends with that particular story. So we'll see what happens in episode 2. I like this stuff. I like that they're kind of progressing the story in interesting ways. Like I said, I didn't like the Aleks stuff very much, just for the simple fact that she turned, but she's also another turncoat. She's like a third turncoat. It's like that Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. What are you at? Triple agent? It just didn't make any sense to me. So hopefully they just kind of rectify that stuff. The thing I say for last, and the thing that's really kind of interesting, is when we go back to Wilfred's car, and this is exactly where the episode ends, or kind of where it ends. Why there people are getting dunked on with the sludge or whatever. He's in the medical cart eating steak or whatever he's eating. And we see Zara on a table. Her belly's exposed, for the baby. I guess they're trying to check it out. And then one of the surgeons from what we've seen throughout the entire series injects something into the baby. I don't know if this means they're going to kill the baby, if this is going to give him defects, if this is going to mess it up. I mean, who knows? I don't know if they put like a time bomb or something like that. They're injecting a Suicide Squad time bomb. It was a really kind of disturbing moment, but it's not as disturbing as I think episode 9 of last season was disturbing. It's just, what are they doing? What is it going to take? Where is it going to go from here? And that's where I'm really interested in seeing what's happening. But Wilfred says some, his normal stuff. He's, blah, blah, blah. I have to be there to, see this and so on and so forth. And that's kind of where this episode ends. Like I said, there's something there. The episode ends with a cliffhanger moment, as it always does in these first episodes, because it needs to allow the season to breathe as it moves along. As a review, and as my official synopsis of kind of what this episode's about, my little initial thoughts, this episode is a much better improvement to almost the entire season of season 2, to be fairly honest. I'm giving it like a 9.5 out of 10 because I found it so interesting. I have problems with it just on the simple fact of Aleks and some of the things that deal with what Snowpiercer is doing. But the reason I give it a 9.5 out of 10 is it was intriguing. It was interesting. It gave me some hope that season 3 is really going to rectify the problems of season 2. It pushes the story forward into new directions, which I didn't expect. I didn't expect to find a building with a nuclear reactor or whatever reactor or what it was. I didn't think that the whole Big Alice stuff would be as interesting and sad and heartbreaking, but also intriguing on what is happening to Javier, what is happening to the resistance people. I'm really interested to see if LJ and Sam have some kind of arc, which I worry that they don't. But for a first episode, I actually think this is the best episode of the entire series when it comes to a season opener. I think it really works. I think it lays the groundwork for what's going to be some really interesting stuff. We'll see where Jennifer Connelly comes into the mix later on. But to leave it there, 9.5 out of 10. I really thought it was interesting. I thought it was really intriguing. I thought the cast did a really much better job. They feel more natural, more, at ease with their character roles. They're kind of in their places where they need to be. I think Graham Mason has done a really nice job of kind of reconfiguring what he needs to configure. Whether they actually listen to us as reviewers, I don't know. But if they did and they took what we were saying to heart, I appreciate it because you've definitely fixed some problems that I was expecting, but you've created some new ones, which we'll see where it goes from there. But for season 1, for the first episode of the season, I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10. I'm looking forward to episode 2, which is going to be the next week. But as of right now, I think this is a good start for season 3. So there you go. That is my take on Snowpiercer season 3, episode 1, which is the Tortoise and the Hare. Thank you so much for watching. Comments below. This is a spoiler review, spoiler explanation. So please tell me what you thought of the episode. What did you like? What did you not like? All that good stuff. Do you think this was a worthy opening to Snowpiercer for a new season? So with that said, thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming next. If you like these videos, awesome. Hit that like button. And as always, we'll see you guys on the next episode of Snowpiercer. Peace out.